What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name's Chris and here we explore products, places, and things that help us live a more enjoyable life. If you've been following along for a while, you know that I've been on the quest to find the one bike solution, the do-it-all bike. And look, in this quest, 2 wheel sets is acceptable, one for road and one for gravel. But what if you could have one wheel set, one set of tires that could do it all? I think I might have found the perfect combination. Ever since I bought the Crux back in October, I've basically been making small tweaks along the way, all in hopes of finding the one bike solution. I've swapped chainrings, saddles, wheels, tires, just about everything that I felt could make a difference on the bike, I've swapped it around. I was so convinced that the Crux was the one bike solution that at one point I considered selling my road bikes and just riding the Crux all year long. Where I landed on the quest for the do-it-all bike was the Crux with a double chainring 4835 and 2 wheel sets, one for gravel, one for road. The gravel wheel set is the Zipp 303S with a set of 43mm Panaracer Gravel King SS tires. And for road, I have a set of Enve 4.5 AR discs with ceramic speed coated bearings and a set of the Pirelli PZERO race tires. This seemed to be like it was the perfect setup with 2 wheel sets until last week. As always, I share my perspective from what I call the everyday athlete. I log around 7,500 miles a year, I still hold down a 9 to 5 and family obligations, and I don't get paid to ride a bike. But man, do I love to smash the pedals with friends before work and on the weekends. About a week and a half ago, I started to notice an issue with the rear hub on my Zipp 303Ss, so I went back to my old gravel wheel set, which are a set of the Reserve 32s. These came on my original Cervelo Aspro that I purchased in spring of last year. Because this wheel set isn't hookless, thank goodness, I was able to run a set of tires that I've been wanting to run for well over a year now, and that is the Continental Terra Speed Protection tires. At 35mm, these tires are right in the middle of my 28mm Pirellis and my 43mm Gravel King SS tires. The first thing I noticed in gravel about this setup is that it was incredibly fast, as I expected, going from 43mm tires down to a stated width of 35. But not only did these tires roll really quickly, but they also gripped and tracked really, really well. And everything from light gravel to sand to basically anything that I could throw at it on some of the lighter, less aggressive trails around here. Don't get me wrong, riding 43mm tires produces an incredibly plush and soft ride, and it's a noticeable difference dropping down to 35mm tires, but not quite as big of a difference as I thought I would notice. On corners, on descents, climbing, everywhere I went, these tires seemed to grip, control, and track really, really well. In fact, I would say for most of the riding that I do around here, these tires perform exceptionally well. I even took it on some of the trails that I would normally only take my Epic on, and these tires performed flawlessly. In fact, inspiring a little bit more confidence than I've often felt when riding gravel. Let's talk about road, because this is where this setup really surprised me. So I had originally planned to sign up for BWR this last weekend, and I was kind of kicking myself for having not signed up. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna take this Saturday and I'm gonna do a really long road ride. Normally on something like this, I would take out the SL7 or I would throw on the set of Enve 4.5s and ride the Crux in what I've called road mode. But I thought in the spirit of BWR, why not ride it in what I now call all road mode? And I'm calling it all road mode because according to bicyclerollingresistance.com, which is a website that I've used for years and has really never steered me wrong on tires and rolling resistance, there is only a 1 watt difference between the 35mm Terra Speed Protections and the 32mm Grand Prix 5000 tubeless tires that I'm running on the Tarmac. 1 watt difference. Well, Saturday's ride ended up being 105 miles with about 5,000 feet of climbing, and I finished it in 5 hours and 13 minutes for an average speed of 20.2 miles an hour and an average power output of 234 watts. Not too bad for a bike that's made for racing cross and riding gravel. At about mile 80 on Saturday, a friend turned to me and he said, "What do you think the power difference is between riding the SL7 and riding the Crux as you have it currently configured?" It's a really good question, and I thought about that. And I think it's about a 15 to 20 watt difference. If I average 234 watts, I'd say I would have averaged 215 to 220 had I been on the Tarmac. So where are the weak points in this setup? Well, the Crux is still the Crux. It's not a Tarmac or a Venge or a C64 or a Madone. It's not an ultra stiff road bike. If it were, it would be an absolute mess the moment that you turned off the pavement. I felt the biggest differences when I was climbing on the Crux. You see, it's just not as snappy and nimble as a proper road bike. So it becomes a little bit difficult to keep up with your friends when they're drilling up the climbs and you're riding a bike that is just not quite as stiff. Now, maybe that's just an excuse. Maybe I need to get into better shape. But whatever the case may be, I felt like if I was on the Tarmac, I probably would have held on a little bit longer. Except for those top, 3 to 5% of your ride where you're at an absolute max and you need that extra 15 to 20 watts to help you get over. Well, I think the Crux performs really, really well. The beauty of this setup is that I feel like at any point during my Saturday ride, I could have peeled off from the group, dropped my tire pressure, and ridden fire roads or single track back home, and I would have had an absolute blast. Didn't have to change tires, didn't have to change wheel sets, all with one single setup. This wheel and tire combination may in fact be the setup that eliminates the need for any other wheel sets. If I'm traveling in the future, I have no need to bring 2 wheel sets anymore. I'm confident that with this one wheel and tire combo, I can do just about everything that I want to do. Look, this isn't meant to be a tire review or a wheel review or a Crux review. This is simply sharing a data point or a tweak, albeit a big data point or a big tweak that I think moves the needle that much closer to finding the one bike solution. This finding is not just relevant to the Crux, it's also relevant to your Diverge, your Aspero, your Warbird, your Topstone, your Athos, whatever bike you're riding where you're looking for a little bit of that cross between gravel and road. I think this is relevant for you. And hopefully my experience allows you to skip a few different revisions and find exactly what you're looking for. For everyone who was hoping for the Aspero versus Crux review, don't worry, I got you. I was just really, really excited about this setup and I wanted to share it with you. So I'll work on that. We'll get to it next week. Until then,